He's like, no way! No way! It connected right away. This thing is the wackiest thing ever. We're early. Early! Oh, getting everything ready for the live stream. But anyways, welcome. My name is Lazaro Gomez. This is BOT10ART, and you're tuned in to the Friday night live stream. We're a little bit early, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and set things up, open up the chat, and then we'll have a little conversation about the Anet A8. Not bad. Not bad, ladies and gents. Alright, so... Oh, man, what a week. What a week. I gotta tell you, nope, that's not what I want. Ah! Bring him here, bring him here. My wife wants to show you guys something cool.
This is Steven.
He's a rat.
Hi, everybody.
He's super excited.
He's the coolest, man. He's the coolest little rat. Esteban.
And he loves carrots.
He loves... Oh, let me fix the lighting a little bit here so we can see Esteban. Oh, everything's falling apart.
Carrots.
All right, bring him back.
Esteban.
Esteban.
Esteban loves carrots.
So that's our rat.
Esteban loves carrots.
That's our rat, Steven. He loves carrots.
Yeah.
He's really cool. So I'm getting everything ready, popping out the chat, and we'll see how we go from there. What's up?
Teddy bear named
Yeah.
Bluey.
Uh-huh.
And he's really, 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 really cute.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Bye now.
Bye!
I hope you liked it.
All right, there's our chat. Now we could put a little bit of music. Yeah, so that was my rat, Steven. Or I should say the family rat. It's the family rat, Esteban. All right. There we go. A little better lighting. Doo-doo-doo. Without being blown out. All right, let me set up the chat. Here we go. All right, so we got that. We have. Let's put a little bit of music, I guess. A little bit of music. Yeah, we'll let this play for a little bit. There we go. Alright, cool. Yeah, it'll be fine. Alright. Welcome to the live stream, as I said before. So, this week has been just like completely bananas. So, I built the Anet A8. It's sitting right here on my desk. I want to say thank you to everybody who watched 6 hours of me building this crazy 3D printer. But yeah, it's come along nicely. I've learned a few things already. And I've learned a few things already from just messing around with it, really. And trying different densities, trying different models that I've been finding on Thingiverse. So for me and a lot of people in the community, Thingiverse has become a great source of information and models and stuff like that, and just an overall great community that I've just recently joined and became part of. So BOT10ART is on Thingiverse, and I plan on creating 3D models and stuff like that may be useful for other people, but it'll be completely free on Thingiverse just like everybody else, and just so I could be part of that community. But this week has been extremely crazy for me because I haven't gotten much done as far as commissions go. I've been completely consumed with this thing, and and just really trying to learn everything that goes along with it. I've made some upgrades, which you have probably already seen on Instagram and stuff like that. So these pieces will be implemented into the printer over the weekend. So this is, of course, the attachment for the switch that's going to go onto my new power supply. I haven't swapped that out. So the 3D printer is pretty much vanilla for the most part, but I will go over all of the parts, things that I've noticed, and also upgrades that I've done for the printer, and we're going to kind of go through that tonight. But I got to tidy up my desk a little bit because it is disheveled. Tell you honestly, I've been just running around doing things, and on my free time, printing parts. So yeah, it's like I said, it's been pretty crazy. And if you haven't noticed, that fan noise, of course, in the background is the 3D printer. Right now, it's in cool down mode, and I might just reprint something real quick to kind of show you the printer in motion. So let's see what we get. Alright, just want to make sure I got the right chat open, because it does happen sometimes where I don't. And we'll go from there. All right. Here we go. Okay, so I do have the chat open. All right, let's go through that. So yeah, I have just been running around. The Batman I'm still working on, of course. It's still here in pieces. I plan to finish that pretty soon, along with some other commissions that I've been working on that hopefully will be, coming, or I'll be getting around to getting them done. So yeah, the Batman's there. I have a few other commissions, and I'm really excited because I finally got clearance to show the giant commission that I worked on for the past 3 months. So I'll be posting a video, because throughout the whole project, what I was doing is I was just taking photographs. I wasn't videotaping anything, but I will have an Instructable that's going to go on Instructable.com. So you could obviously read step-by-step process on how I did that project. There's also going to be kind of a montage type video of still photos of the project, but basically I am allowed to talk about it. So I had a client reach out to me. She was getting married, and she wanted to give the wedding party a gift. And we talked about what that gift would be and how I would go about doing that gift. And she just wanted me to be part of the wedding and kind of create something that was unique and special to them. And we talked about something that I have been doing in the past secretly. I haven't really introduced it to the masses yet, because I'm still working out a couple of things on how I want that process to go. But I did design... well, not design, but I did create for her 10 custom pop figures, and they're meant to look just like the people that are involved in the wedding. They have all the proper costumes. Of course, we made the bride, we made the groom, and she does have a veil and all those things. But it was really, really cool because I was just busting at the seams. I kept wanting to post something or say something, but I had to obviously keep it a secret, and that's fine. I mean, it was a cool thing. So between other commissions, doing the live stream, and just lining up different types of work. I had this secret project that I was working on, and it was here in the home studio, just kind of hanging around, and it was really neat because when it was in different stages. So first you get the DIY pop, and then of course I get tons and tons of photo reference that the client provided me with, and I was able to see what everybody looked like and how the outfits were gonna look and all of that. And then I had to go from a DIY pop all the way to a finished product. So that involved getting the pop, getting everything shipped here to me, all secretly. Of course, going through each one, taking all the pops out, drawing certain things on them, modeling, using original Sculpey, and then of course baking those, and obviously painting the skin, painting the wardrobe, and then of course the last step is just sealing the paint job, putting them in packages, and delivering a final product to my client. So it was a really cool project. As I mentioned before, I have made custom pops before. I have made tons of custom pops, and this is something that I want to add to the repertoire of things that I do. Hey Trace, you made it! Welcome, son. How you doing, dude? But yeah, I want to add this to just another thing that BOT10ART can do. So it's custom pop figures for everybody. So I'm gonna have that up on my store. You could obviously contact me in all the different ways that I'm online, whether it be an email or here on YouTube or anything like that. But I'll be showing some of those commissions as they come in, unless they stay private. Of course, over here I do have a few other commissions that are private, but I hope that I can show a lot more in the future, because I kind of want to, I want that to be part of the community. I want you guys to kind of tune into the live stream, and you'll be able to see a lot of stuff. So yeah. So like I said, I'll have photographs that I'll be making a video, maybe talk a little bit more about how that project was done or what that project is. I don't know at the moment, but I'll do my best to basically show something online that's nice for all of you guys to see. So yes. The big 3-month project is complete. It is complete. It is delivered. It was such an amazing feeling to deliver such a big project, and just seeing the look on her face, and she started crying, and it was a real emotional moment, and that's worth the price of admission in my eyes. I mean, that's the reason why I do a lot of these projects. I love to see the reaction on people's faces, and just to see it all, and the accolades, of course, and everything else that came along with it. It was great. It was great that I was able to do that and have the experience of doing something so cool like that. So there'll be a lot more of that, I'm sure. Like as I mentioned before, I've been doing a lot of this stuff secretly, but moving forward, I'll put that, I'll make that more public to everybody, that I do custom pops. There is a community that I follow that deals with custom pops and stuff like that, and there are some key players within that community that are great, that are just as good as me or greater than what I do, and I learn from them, and of course, hopefully, I will be accepted amongst those creators with the kind of work that I do. So that's kind of the goal, of just being part of a community and being able to share work and ideas and stuff like that is always something that's interested me, and I'm just happy that I'm able to do that sort of stuff. So yeah, there you have it. So the moment everyone has been waiting for. Let's check out the Anet A8, right? So I cleaned up a little bit here. There's still a couple of things lying around, but yeah, I'm gonna have to just clean tomorrow. I did want to apologize for anybody following the Celestial series. I am behind. The last one I did was February, so I still have to do March and of course April. Those are coming. I promise they are. But like I said, once I got the 3D printer, it completely absorbed my life, and I have to kind of go through everything and get back on schedule, and hopefully deliver art jobs that I promised people. So please, thank you for being so patient with me. All right, so let's see. I'm trying to. I think I have. Let's see. I know I'm talking a lot, but I just fired up. Okay, so I was trying to see if I have a smaller tripod, but I must have put it away, and I don't want to start digging through stuff while I'm on the live stream. So I'll do my best to hold the camera as steady as possible. So let's change our lights so you guys can get a better view of what this thing is. So we'll do that, and I'm gonna have to take the camera off the mount. So here we go. Alright, so let's see if I can hold this steady. So basically, that's the Anet A8, and it's over here on the corner of my desk. Of course, there's my laptop, all my other tools, and everything up there that I keep. Right here, there's a mount that's basically feeding the PLA right into the extruder. So it goes right in there, and this is the extruder here, and we'll kind of go through all the parts and pieces, and I'll try to keep this as steady as possible. So let's see. This is the extruder fan. It has a heat sink right here. This is a blower fan, and what it does is, as it's pouring out the filament, it's actually cooling it down. So that's the way these printers work. You can see that there's like little ridges and the highlights of this particular piece, and those highlights are those highlights are being captured by the actual filament. So what I'll do is for my Instagram, I'll try to put high resolution photos, but here you can kind of see the ridges, and that's the way the 3D printer does its work. So this particular piece, when I printed it out, I started sanding it and kind of getting it a lot smoother, but there's still a lot of work to be done before I could install this. So hopefully tomorrow I could start sanding this and have it installed to the power supply. So right now all my pieces are, as you can tell, they're rough, they're not sanded. The machine is not really calibrated to its full potential, so some of the pieces are going to come out kind of rough. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this to be printed once again. It takes about 15 minutes, so you guys can see the actual printer in process. So we'll do that later on. This right here is a motor. There's two of them. One here, or actually no, I take that back. There's only one motor right here for I believe this is the X. Yeah, let me see, let me double check. I don't want to say something that's not right, but I believe this is the X motor. Yep, that's the X motor here. And then these two are the Y motors. And then this one here, this is the Z belt, and as you can tell, it's really loose and springy versus this one that's kind of taut. But this is the Y belt, and the motor for that is over here underneath that plate right there. It's underneath that plate. Then if we go over here, this is the motherboard. This is the motherboard for the Anet A8. Of course, it has all these cables that handle different motors. Then you have the main power right there, and then you have your bed controls. You have your data ribbon that is kind of snaked up to the back, and that is that's the LCD display right there. And then I did a bit of cable management, as you can see right there. That's all gonna change because there's gonna be a chain that goes right here, and it's gonna house all of these cables back here. So there is a bit of cable management. I ended up using those little snake things that came in the kit, but I will change that in the future. And then over here is the power supply. So that's the power supply that came with it. Back there I have my MOSFETs and my new power supply, which I'll be attaching. And I have my switch with a 5 amp fuse in there. So that piece will go here. It'll actually go something like that. And then it'll get all wired up, and those wires are gonna go attached to the power supply. That power supply, of course, is gonna feed this motherboard, and up here will be the 2 MOSFETs, one for the bed and one for the extruder. So I think I covered pretty much everything. The upgrades that I've done so far is right here. I added a spacer. I'm gonna let the camera kind of focus a little bit. There we go. So I added a spacer underneath the fan. I added this extruder blower, and then right back there, tucked in, is the belt holder. And they do have a belt tensioner for this here, but that piece right there actually made the belt a lot tighter, so I don't have to do that. But I'll show you what that piece is right back here. So as you can see right there, that is holding that particular belt right there. The only other changes I had to do was I have a little bit of 3-in-1 right here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but basically it's multi-purpose oil, 3-in-1. So what I did is I just lubed up this right here, lubed up that right there, because it was giving me a bit of a squeaky sound as it was going up and down. As the extruder was going up and down, it was kind of squeaking a little bit, so we don't have that problem now. During the build, this switch right here was actually flipped. It was backwards and it was making a horrible sound. So since then I have changed that. I flipped it to the right orientation. I'm trying to think what else. The bed underneath, this was actually flipped upside down also, because the belt was lifted just like that, and so now it's running a lot flatter. So that's an upgrade I did. So it's, you know, just a couple things here and there. This part right here is going to be it's going to be replaced with a tensioner here to make this belt a lot tighter, because as you can tell, there is some spring to it. There is a little bit of spring to it, and I kind of want to tighten that up a little bit. I don't know if the noise of the fan is kind of blocking what I'm saying, but I hope not. So yeah, this part right here is, like I said, is going to be replaced, and that's pretty much it. It's a very simple design. All of these pieces are acrylic. I kept the paper protective on it. Later on, I plan to build a case that's going to house the entire printer, and it'll make it a lot quieter, and it'll keep all the dust out and stuff like that. One thing I have noticed is every once in a while you're going to have to take this all apart, because if you look on my table, there's tons and tons of little filament pieces, especially back here. There's like all this tons of stuff that comes off of it, and I have a suspicion that the piece that's inside here that holds the extruder this little screw is actually hitting the mechanism that feeds the filament into the extruder, and it's kind of shredding. I don't know for sure, but I'll double check that. So the print piece that we're going to be doing is this right here. It's a little knob, and it goes right up here, because this, you push this down and that releases the filament in the case that you need it to remove it. So that kind of shreds your fingers, and somebody created a knob that goes right there, and it makes it a lot easier for you to just kind of press that up and down. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and show you that. For right now, I kind of have this hanging over the printer, and I hope to do that a little bit better. But here you have a standard LCD display, and what I do is I just kind of go through everything. Quick settings will zero everything out. Like if I wanted to hit home all, the printer actually goes back to its 0 point and it's ready to print. So another thing I want to do is I want to go back and let's see, let's go back to quick settings, and I want to preheat my PLA. So there you have ABS, you have a cool down, and you can preheat your PLA. So I want to do that. The fan changed, so it was really high. Now it came down a little bit, and you'll start to see filament basically coming out of the extruder as it starts heating up. So we can kind of see that a little bit. But yeah, so I told the printer to go ahead and preheat the filament so it'll be ready to print. So you can see it's starting to droop out a little bit. That's gonna just fall on my table, and it's not a big deal. But we're gonna go back here, and we're gonna select our print. So right now I have an SD card that is right there, and that SD card has all the G codes for everything that we want to print. So I'll go here to print file, and those are the things that are on my SD card at the moment. We're gonna print out the extruder button. As you can see, I've selected it there, and then I hit this option, and it's gonna start heating up the filament to 220. Once it reaches 220, it'll start printing. The bed right now is at 46 degrees, and it has to go up to 70 degrees. There's zero buffer, flow 100, and you can see that it's at 0% printing. So it's getting really close. We're at 50 degrees for the bed, and we're gonna see it kick off here in a minute. So I'll try to keep it as balanced as possible. Actually, I'll use a 3D printed part. So there you go. Right now we're at 220. The bed needs to heat up to 70 degrees, and then you'll see this printer start printing the piece that we told it to print. So let's see. We're at 57 degrees. These are all Celsius numbers, of course. And it's really funny because it just sits there idle, and then all of a sudden it'll take off. So I noticed that during printing, the nozzle does vary from the temperature changes from like 219 to 220, 221, and it bounces back and forth while it's printing. But this particular piece prints out really fast. Let's see. Oh, so exciting. Alright, it's at 65 degrees, so it's about to print pretty soon. But before I show you all of that, I want to show you Cura software. So this is Cura Slicer. This is 14.07. And in here, I could see my print. and I can see all the slices that the printer is going to go through. I can see the path that the extruder is going to take, and it's basically just showing me just level, level by level how it's going to print the entire piece. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Alright, so now it's getting ready. And as you can see, it prints a test on the outside, and then it starts printing the actual piece. And the neat thing is that it does all these crazy little sounds, and you can kind of sit here and watch it all. It's very zen. But right here you can see all the different settings that you have for your print. And right now we have layer height 0.2 millimeters. We have a shell thickness of 8 millimeters. And then the density, the fill density is at 25%. And what that means is here, all of that infill is what's the 25%. If I had it at 100, that would be completely solid. That would be completely solid. So that tells the software what kind of PLA I'm using, and the flow, the bed temperature, the nozzle temperature, and the speed that I want this to print at. So then I just, when I'm ready, I send the G code to the SD file or the SD card. The SD card goes there. I access it through here, and you gotta print. It's that easy. It is that easy. So yeah, it's that easy. That's basically the 3D printer in a nutshell. I know the video was kind of shaky, and I do apologize for that. I don't have my other stand, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So, 6 hours to build. I want to say I'm about like $200 into this particular investment, which is not bad, really, if you think about it. If you want a 3D printer and you want to get into 3D printing, and this is a whole new thing for you, it's not a bad computer. It's not a bad printer to start with. So that's basically how it all works. That's basically how it all works. And I put it all together with tools that are very common. Just a screwdriver, a small wrench that came along with the kit. You don't have to have anything fancy. You don't have to know anything too crazy. I will say the instructions were extremely difficult to deal with because it was all based on just images. It's like they just had images on the entire PDF file. So they had, this is what you're building, this is what it should look like when you're done. So in that process, some of the switches were reversed, some of the cabling was kind of hokey, some of the connections were a bit strange, and some of the pieces I had to assemble, then disassemble to put other pieces in place. So there was a point where, I got to like step 14, 15, somewhere around there, and then the next step was actually step 27. So then once step 27 was done, I could move on to the other one, and it was a bit strange. So on last Saturday, I decided, when I was filming live, to just kind of take my time and kind of see what everything is, and just kind of go through everything with a fine-tooth nail. It's like a fine-tooth comb to kind of go through everything and make sure I had it all right and running. So, but for the most part, not bad for a cheap printer. So right now the print is at 27%, and we just kicked it off, so it's actually really fast when it's when you set the right parameters. There's still a couple of things that I want to fine tune, and I'll be doing that in the coming weeks. Also, I downloaded Blender, which is what I'll be using to model a lot of the stuff that I want to print, and so I'm kind of I'm kind of still working through all of that, learning a brand new software. But the idea of the 3D printer is, as far as BOT10 is concerned, I want to have a multitude of purposes using one machine. So one of the purposes is, of course, print on demand. If anybody wants to print anything in 3D, I'll be able to print that and then just charge them a small fee for whatever filament was used. So that's the first purpose of getting the 3D printer. The second purpose of getting the 3D printer is to actually build pieces that I could incorporate into making props and stuff like that when I'm making my masters. If somebody was to order some kind of gun or something, then I could 3D print the pieces and kind of put it all together and make a mold out of that, so I can reproduce those kinds of things like weapons and stuff like that. So multiple purposes, multiple uses for the 3D printer, and I'm hoping that, you know, things work out well. Of course, the last thing that I'll be using my 3D printer is to print parts and pieces for things that I need around the house. Maybe it's just a handle. Maybe it's just, you know, a switch or something that's broken in the house. I can either 3D print it or reproduce it, and that kind of teaches me more about 3D printing. Of course, I can buy these pieces in stores and stuff like that, but I would rather learn and fine tune this right here. yeah, it's printing fast, man. It's like right now we're at 43%, so that particular piece will be done soon. I'll flip the camera so we can kind of see it once it gets closer to the end. But yeah, for the most part, like I said, it's really cool. It's metal. The hotbed is aluminum, and the main body is acrylics. I did trace over all the pieces, and if I wanted to, I could have them machined in aluminum or make them out of wood to kind of maybe change the look of the printer or provide more stability. But for right now, the way that the printer is, it's actually really cool. I've talked to my friend Jared about 3D printing all this week pretty much, and we've been comparing notes and kind of talking about his 3D printer and my 3D printer and ways to improve it and things I should look out for. And he's been vital as far as giving me some tips and tricks when it comes to 3D printing. So he was curious to see how I would put all this together. He tuned into the live stream last week, and hopefully he tunes in tonight and he can kind of see the printer in action. Let's see, what's that? Yeah, right? What's the fun in buying something when you can make it? Yeah, I mean, again, it's something that I set out to do a few years back. Basically, I chose to learn something new every year. So this year, finally, through all the commissions and everything I've done, I was able to get the 3D printer because I want to learn 3D printing. And so this, you know, for the remainder of the year, I will be teaching myself how to use a 3D printer and everything that goes along with it. And then next year it'll be something else. I'm already spying a few things that I've seen online. There are some people who actually still do blacksmithing here in Florida, and I'm really excited about that. So maybe I'll take a blacksmithing class. There's also leatherwork workshops that I'm interested in, and just those are all the kinds of things that I like to do. I like to learn something new every year, and for me this year it's 3D printing. So of course, if you guys have any comments or concerns or questions, please, by all means, feel free to either message me privately or leave your comment on any of the videos, and I'll be helping the community to answer whatever knowledge I have. I'll be 100% willing to share it. So I'm becoming the jack of all trades. Yeah, the jack of all trades, master of none. I don't know. I just feel like if you're not challenging yourself in life and you're just kind of staying level, that's fine. That may be good for some people, but for myself, I like to keep things moving. I like to move forward. I like to learn new things and educate myself in all kinds of things. So yeah, jack of all trades, perhaps. All right, right now we're at 62% on this particular print. Once it gets to 80%, I'll go ahead and flip the camera so you guys can see how the 3D printer finishes up. But yeah, like I mentioned before, of course I'll be sharing all the information I know, all the knowledge I have, whether it be a little bit or a lot. I will do my best to share it. But yeah, you have any questions, any concerns, please, by all means, leave it in the comments or just contact me directly. So yeah, this thing whizzes along. It makes a lot of noise, so I don't suggest you send the print and go to bed, because you're not going to get any sleep. It is a bit tantalizing also. When I first started printing, I would just stare at it, you know, just staring at prints as they go along. Now it's kind of always in the background while I'm doing stuff, so you kind of get used to the certain sounds, and it's interesting because sometimes you'll hear something and you're like, yeah, that's not normal, and you come over here and you check it out, and it's a little tweak here, a little tweak there, but for the most part, it's really, really cool. It's like the inner nerd is like, yes, I have a replicator. I can start printing out burgers. But then, of course, yeah, then of course, you know, the normal side of you is like, calm down, dude, it's just a 3D print. So right now, yep, 70%, so we're getting close to that. And the temperature is fluctuating. The bed still stays at 70%, but the actual nozzle for the extruder jumps from 221 to 217, and it kind of fluctuates in and out depending on the movement of the extruder, which is kind of cool to look at. But I do keep an eye on that. See if there's a drastic drop, then I know there's something wrong with the extruder. And that's another thing too. I'm still kind of learning. I'm still kind of learning all the bits and pieces. So I'll say something that's like wrong, but then I correct myself and move along. That's all part of learning, right? Rather than calling things the thingy. Hey, the thingy. So I try to remember what those pieces are, what those parts are. So yeah, I just want to take this opportunity before we flip over. If it's the first time you tuned in to this channel, I hope you stay. I want to be the first to welcome you to my channel. The Friday night live stream, of course, we do different types of projects every week, and it's more of a hangout. It's a lot of creative people that are in the community, and we just do cool things. All right, let's flip it over. We're at 77%, so here we go. All right. 77%, and you can see that this piece is coming along nicely. Let it zoom in or kind of focus. I know it's having a bit of a hard time trying to focus, but you can see the part that's in there. And perhaps I should have taken the blower off and put the other one on so you could see the extruder doing its thing. But you get the idea. Alright, 81%. And it's just incredible, the speed, because like I said, this particular model should take about like 15 minutes or so. I haven't really been timing it, but it is fast. And it's doing all the parts that it needs to on the inside, the 25% fill. And it's doing the outer shell. And it kind of like zips back and forth. Another neat thing I was thinking about doing for my channel is to kind of create like Zen-like videos of whatever it is I'm printing. So you'll probably see a lot of these videos like this, And you can, I don't know, kind of guess at what it is that I'm printing. Who knows? I don't know. But it is kind of neat to look at. Alright, here we go. I apologize for the zoom. It's trying to focus. But it is a moving part, so it's trying to catch up. It's at 86% right now. There we go. ASMR? I'm terrible with acronyms. What does that mean? Alright, right now we're at 88%. Yeah, sorry Trace, I'm like terrible at acronyms. I know it stands for something, I just don't know what it is. I'll have to look it up. Alright. Yep, I'll do that. It's kind of hard to explain. Okay. Alright, after the stream I'll take a look at it. I'll look it up. Woo! There it goes. 90%. Oh, 91. I know, it's incredibly exciting, isn't it? So now it's starting to do the hard coat on top. We'll see. Yeah, it's the final countdown. Trying to get you a good angle. But yeah, I mean, you can see it is fast. Right now I have it printing at 50%. It can go a lot faster than that. I know it can. 94%. It does the craziest sounds. It's really wacky. Alright, I gotta put the camera back on here because I'm running out of battery. Oh, sorry you guys couldn't see the final part, but it's at 96%. And what I'll do is I'll take the part out from the bed once it's done. 97%. And what I've been doing with these pieces is I've been using different grades of sandpaper. So I'll start with a rough sandpaper, and then there you go, 100%. I'll use a rough sandpaper and then slowly go finer and finer and finer to kind of get rid of those lines. All right, we have a printed piece. And there it is. Just like that. So then now I have two. And basically what I've been doing is, when it comes to all these parts, what I've been doing is I've been printing a part and a backup. So in case this one breaks for some crazy reason, or I lose it or something like that, I have another backup. Plus I have the STL files that I can convert to G-code, and I could keep printing. I could keep printing as much as I want. Have I heard of acid dipping instead of sandpaper? Yes, I have. There's acid dipping, and there's also acetone. You could put these pieces in acetone and cover it with a container, and it'll actually smooth out the prints. I will be experimenting with that later on when it comes to cosplay pieces, but for these replacement and upgrades that I've been printing, I haven't really gone that far because it's my printer. I'm the only one that sees it. So if I start looking at these pieces and they start bothering me, then yeah, I will smooth them out and do modifications that way. But for the most part, you know, I'm just printing upgrades. So, but I do know that there are different methods to get PLA and ABS smoothed out chemically. So yeah, I have seen that. I actually saw it. I want to say it was done on Test It. They printed out a benchy, and they tried to smooth out the benchy using those different kinds of methods. So I have seen that. Yeah. Yep, I've seen that. So again, not bad. Greetings from the West. Oh, what's up, Steve? Hey, man, I'm glad you could join us. I'm just showing everybody my my 3D printer. So I'm glad you could join us. Hopefully you're still having safe travels and having fun. And I look forward to hearing all your stories. All the battle stories, man. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Not bad for a cheap printer. I will say that if you are going to get an Anet A8 like I did, make sure that make sure that you do a bit of research as to where you buy it. I have had great luck with it. Nothing went wrong when I placed my order. Everything was fantastic. But I have read online and I have seen videos where people have purchased this particular kit and it's missing screws, it's missing parts. It's the old motherboard. The old motherboard catches on fire. You're gonna need this. You're gonna need that. And for my particular model, I have seen some upgrades already done. As a matter of fact, I have a different version of the motherboard than the previous faulty motherboards. So I'm happy about that. And for the most part, my printer is pretty cool. I mean, I didn't have any issues. It was a little bit of a learning curve to build the actual printer, but I'm well satisfied. And like I said, I got mine at Gear Best. Of course, they're not a sponsor or anything like that. It just happens to be that I follow Bill Duran from Punish Props, and he got one and he was testing it out. Him and his wife Brittany, and they put it together and they did upgrades and they did a bunch of stuff. Their videos are actually like really neat, and that was one of the defining factors. Just basically, I know that it works for them, so I know it'll work for what I want to do. So if you get a chance, check out those videos, and I'll probably link them up somehow to this video, and you can kind of see what they went through and their hardships and stuff like that. But for me, like I said, it was pretty much smooth sailing. And I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the investment I made so far. So, with that said, like I said, I will have. I'm open to questions. I'm open to comments that you guys come up with in the future. If you do get one, make sure to come back and we'll talk about it. And I can help you. I can help you build your own. As a matter of fact, I have a friend of mine who has everything I purchased in an Amazon shopping cart and is just waiting to pull the trigger because he's gonna purchase the same printer, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's it. that was my exciting tour of the Anet A8 for the live stream for tonight. I don't know what I'll be doing next week. Maybe it will be some art project. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe some more upgrades. But as always, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for your comments, your questions, the likes, everything, man. Just thank you so much. Also, we have new subscribers to the channel. I want to say thank you and welcome. And I'm sure the community welcomes you as well. And yeah, we're up to 65 subscribers, which is that's pretty cool. I certainly didn't expect it. I certainly didn't expect it, but of course it is welcoming. And I just want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for everything you guys do. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week's live stream. We'll see you next week. And if you guys have projects, show me those projects, man. I want to see those projects. And I'm always curious to see what everybody else is working on. So with that, I'll send all my love. I'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. See you next week. All right, bye bye.